Yes, of course. My name is Ivan Tiso, and today we are talking event management. What exactly makes a successful event in South Africa or all over the world? And joined here in the studio or the platform, it is the gentleman, and they're very handsome. I feel so lucky as a woman because they are all men as panelists. So I'm going to be introducing them from my right, going that way, and they will be telling us shortly, you are doing an events management out there, and this is the time for you to learn. Please, so now on my right, I have Ntate Fumani Shivambu from Grand Beats. La mano apere suit ebile o re emetse gantle, and then rena le Neo Lerole. No, actually not Lerole, Lucky Thobela from Sawubona Music Jam. Ra amogela ntate, and then rena le Ntate Papi Molapisane from Music Vault. Wapere suit, we ikemiseditse akere. And then we've got Cheese Boy from Chovicho. Welcome, Ntate. And then we've got Mr. Neo Lerole from Act Now. And then online, of course, we are joined by Leanne from EXA. And then we also have Mr. Ozmic all the way from Hip Hop Awards. Actually, they are organizing the Hip Hop Awards. So my people, I want to talk to my gentlemen and allow me the space to say, please, if you are on Facebook or you are on YouTube, tell your friends or ba share le batho ba bang gore ka utlwa rena ke eng se re ka ithutang ka sona ka events management. So bontate dumelang and welcome to the show. Please tell people at home what you do and your organization, and exactly in terms of events management, what do you do?
So I've got a company, Grand Beats Productions. Yeah. So Grand Beats Productions, we hire out almost everything. So anything that is used, we hire it out. And I run a restaurant in Soweto called Sud, which means South Africa, the Sud, South Africa.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So, I book artists and all that kind of things.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, thank you so much. And Tati Lucky, when are we at time? Because Rabono Ro, it's a perikuane airline, but how long at the Iposa, what's on go events?
We run a project called Sawubona Music Jam. That's where it's a development project for, we call ourselves the orphans of the craft, because in this industry there is this kind of a concept that if you're not known, meaning that you're not in the media, you're not a full-blown musician. So Sawubona Music Jam is there. Play live music every Tuesday.
Oh wow!
Every Tuesday, as I'm here, we've been developing all the streams and all that. It's an unfunded project anyway. Yeah, I'm still gonna unfold that when time goes, because those are challenges that most of the artists in township come across. Yeah. So it's about a music jam. We're there to say, let's hang on, let's do it. And
so if you're staying in the burbs, you are missing out. Hey, let's move on to Ntate Papi Molapisane. Yo, wait nantse ke re o bereka ko officing. Ya nong ka makala ha o so le mo go to dira events management. Ta go re bele gore na o tlhako kae?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Papi Molapisane, and I'm a founder of Mood Holdings. And under Mood Holdings, we actually do events coordinating, events meaning like seminars, music fest, and all those things. But our biggest one at the moment is Music Vault. And why am I mentioning Music Vault is because most of the guys here are musicians and all those things. Yeah. And yeah, that's basically what we do. And we also do sound rentals. I'm also a technician somehow. And so, yeah, as an entrepreneur, you've got to be a master of all trades.
They always say man in glasses. Hey, but it's knowledge. I know everybody listen, but let's move on to our gentleman over there in yellow shirt. Baraka Mr. Cheese Boy. And why the name Cheese Boy?
DJ Cheese Boy.
Oh, DJ Cheese Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, now
DJ
we understand.
So yeah, my name is DJ Cheese Boy. I'm from Pretoria. Most of times, kira the event chakuri tlapo. You understand? So most of people, they don't know record lapong the event, and it's every day. and I'm a music producer. Still, I own a company maybe saying Jovijo because of the busy the upcoming artist or one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. No, we hear you. Mr. Nao, a ka re bolele gore na wena o dira eng motsoko kae gape?
Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Naolo Role. I currently sit as the chairperson of our Act Now Youth League, and I'm the director of Kobongaba Wildlife Foundation. For the events for the event side, we do host candlelight and awareness. We raise awareness on gender-based violence. So I think that's how I feature in events, and I'm going to close there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Wow, it's quite interesting to see young people really doing things for themselves. And I must say that, COVID has actually given us a lots and lots of opportunities, but I guess you guys have been in the game before even COVID-19, I get it. So now let's talk about this thing, which is the crux of the matter. But before that, I did say that we have our guest online, Leanne, our beautiful woman right there. And I know she's a very busy woman, but she gave us a certain time to actually spend with her. Leanne, can you please kindly tell people at home what do you do and which organization you're coming from?
Thank you so much. And hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having me. I represent EXA, the Events and Exhibition Association of Southern Africa. We're a non-profit organization which basically represents the people who are in the events industry and exhibition industry. So it's mainly the suppliers forum, the people who do all the hard work. It's been a very long slog for us, as I know for everybody sitting together. COVID has hit us all very badly and is still hitting us badly. So we are all trying to lobby to government to try and make sure that events stay open and exhibitions. Our biggest passion and drive at the moment in terms of where EXA is going is youth development. We are looking for the next gen because I don't think many people understand the industries we come from. And the youth need to be excited because it's a very exciting career choice. And that is my passion. And that is what I'm trying to do, is to bring in a next generation of people that we can train and we can mentor and that we can teach. And that's me. Thank you so much.
Quite interesting. Thank you so much, Leanne. Moving on to Ozmic. Could you please just tell us which organization you represent? And we are well aware that you are doing the SA Hip Hop Awards as well.
My name is Ozmic Manuel from a company called Ritual Media Group. We produce the Hennessy Back to the City International Festival. We do the South African Hip Hop Awards. We currently in construction of the South African Hip Hop Museum. And also we run the South African Hip Hop Association. Those are some of the things that we do.
Wow, you're quite such a busy man, Ozmic. Kabelo, like I said earlier on, welcome to the show. We have already introduced some other guys on the panel, but if you can just kindly, please, briefly introduce yourself, which organization you represent, and what do you guys do?
Hi, how are you?
We are so very much well, thank you.
Yes, I'm okay. I go by the name of Kabelo from a company called Juices Events.
All right, Kabelo, thank you so much. All right.
From Pretoria, Hamilton, yes.
Oh, ngwana ko gae kwa Pitori.
Yeah, ke tswa ke le Moskrana.
Okay, Kabelo, thank you so much. This is our esteemed panel. But now, just to break the ice, I want us to really talk about... Okay, thank you, Kabelo. We've done with the introduction. Now we're getting into the real topic. The topic that we are talking about today is events management. But really, a lot of young people out there that are doing events management, they are sort of like slightly struggling. And others they seem to be progressive in this business. But today we want to address the issue of young people that really wants to venture into the business. However, there are a lot of challenges, And, some of the challenges could be, I am not really knowledgeable with what I'm doing. And maybe let's start with what makes a successful event. How event is successful?
Okay, I think I'll go first. And so for me, and let's say my team, what makes a successful event is one of the few things. One, if we spend money on it, then we've got to have returns, like positive returns, understand? That's one. And then two, happy clients, if we actually coordinating an event for a certain client. And then three, the reputation of the company. That's like one of the biggest and most important thing to us, because we would like to get that call again. Understand? Yes, from the client, and we want everyone to go home happy, knowing that they can come back again. We want people and be like that music vault event. You understand? We want to go back there again. Why don't you guys do it weekly? Why don't you do it monthly instead of just once a year? You understand? To me and let's say my team, that's a successful event. Yeah.
But always people talk about when I go to an event, it's more like an experience for me. I don't understand what people are talking about when they say it's an experience, because to me it's like, hey, jive, so Leanne, can you please kindly explain to us, when people are saying, when I go to this event, it's more like an experiment or an experience for me that I can never forget in my life. What do they mean by that?
It means that there's different events that cater to different crowds and different audiences. And if you've done your job right, and my personal belief in my experience of over 30 years in the events industry is that preparation actually loves success. So the better prepared you are, the better your client is going to feel at the end of the day. And you need to offer them something that has that good feel factor, that they walk out and they know the food was good, the music was fantastic, the entertainment just moved them. And that is when you know that you've had a great event. And then it becomes an experience that they never, ever forget and want to carry on going. So if you do it well, you will gather the people and you'll find that the events will grow and grow and grow. But that's all about preparation. You need to make sure that you have goals in mind. And if you want an experience, you've got to plan for it. You can't just expect that it's going to happen. You've got to put a lot of planning and a lot of pre-work. In fact, the pre-work at an event is a lot more than the actual event. So the event's over in 2-3 hours, but it takes 3-4 months to put together. And it's about precision for me. And then, just having fun. Just have so much fun.
Are you telling me you are taking me 4 months to prepare for an event that's happening in December? You are starting one in June. That's the time that you're supposed to be starting.
Absolutely.
Hey, Bo. Hey, this is a lot of work.
For an exhibition, they plan a year in advance.
Wow. That's when you learn to respect event organizers. But then the question is, people are always talking about planning is very important. What are we talking about when we say planning? Because people, I would assume, as a person would say, okay, organize a venue. We are here. Rikinya the sofa, and Rikinya sound, and that's the planning.
Sure, your question is,
okay,
what do they start? It's all about what do you want to do. There's no template that says, if you do this, you'll end up doing this. It's about what you want to do, because we spoke about events. You must also remember there's all different types of events. There's a person, weddings are events, kids' birthday parties. So you can specialize in weddings only. You can specialize in surprise birthday parties. You can deal with festivals, large-scale festivals. You can deal with, events that cater for 200 people that are paying 2,000 rand a ticket. It's all about what is it that you want to do and what you want to get out of it.
So if I get you very well, that there are different types of events, right? So now suppose I have the idea, and do I put it down on paper? Do I speak to someone without putting it on paper? And when I start planning it, is there any checklist that I really need to focus on? Yes, literally.
For me personally, I feel that if you want to get into the eventing side of things, firstly, you need to assemble a team. Second of all, assemble people that you know and that you trust. People that are good in their respective fields in the whole section of eventing. Then the second thing you do, you apply for funding. Affiliate yourself with the right people, mobilize, make your concept known. Like one of our panelists was saying earlier, that you don't need a specific celebrity to put up your event or make it big. No. How you put it out there, how you work yourself and your team is how you get your event there. And for someone who's young, who wants to get into eventing, I say gather a team, put up a team that you know does the most in the eventing side of things. You yourself, trust yourself, get yourself well equipped, know yourself knowledge-wise as to how do you go about it, where do you start, and where will it end up. And I think personally that's what I can give from my side.
But can't I implement an event without funding? Because you're talking about funding, you know, yeah?
Yeah, actually, you know, when you're talking about event, I mean, we've been at Sabona Music Jam, we've been doing it for about 8 or more than years, 8 years beyond. And we actually situated in a residential area. You know, so we've been doing that continuously, of which it did pick up eventually, you know, globally. Most of them, you know, they know about Sabona.
So you were
Music
doing
Jam.
it without funding?
Without funding, and we're doing it in a very awkward space because it's just a normal residential area. Yeah. And then it's been successful so far. We are happy. You know, with challenges, yes, because it's a road that we all have to learn on it. And then we, you know, especially for that question that you have asked, people who wants to coordinate events and stuff, they have to look at their local places, how they can sell their craft as well. You know, as a coordinator, or even when they start. So they start to practice what they want to do within their own surroundings, you know. That's what happened to Sabona Music Jam, because we started in our backyard, and we're doing it well so far, you know. You'll find people coming from all over the world. When they come to Soweto, once they want to experience live music, because we've been consistently, because of the digital, you know, change that's been happening, you know, after the bubblegum era and so forth, the things have changed, you know, people using that and then CDs and so forth. So we had to keep live music alive, bring it back and standing so we can inspire another generation. So that's why we started with such project at our own backyard. And it now has sparked to the world. You know, a lot of musicians who are real musicians, when they come to South Africa, surely they pop in there. Even right now as we speak, when you get there, it's a kind of a music house there. You know, it's a you know, so, you know, on those, there is a drive that one should have a long-term vision of it, you know, because it's not all the popcorn concept that you do what you do and get paid. You know, you must be willing and have a drive why you want to do what you want to do.
I mean, I've seen Sawubona, they've got very huge family of music, and you guys are very, very good at what you do. And if I'm getting you very well, you're saying that it starts with your environment where you are, your community where you are. You don't have to go too far. I mean, you stay ko Hammanskraal, or what jump on your event, and at the time those people, they don't even know you, but you start with what you have right now.
Yeah, we have a drive whereby we borrowed from Arthur Ashe. Yeah. You start where you are, you use what you have, and you do what you can.
But Leanne, maybe just going back to you, just to give us maybe the highlights, maybe what goes into your checklist. And these are the things that I really want us to focus on, because I always see people when they come to our company and they're looking for funding. You know, on their budget items, they will talk about logistics, equipment, and this and that, you know. Maybe if you can just give us that breakdown as to what goes into the components of the events management so that we understand. And when we talk logistics, what exactly are we talking about? I mean, I am from the Free State. I have no idea what is logistics. Maybe can you kindly explain that to us?
I can. Okay, so your checklist is your Bible, basically, for an event. Every single detail that you need to do needs to put on a checklist, because we might be smart people, but we're human and we forget. So a checklist is something that is vital. When we talk about logistics, you need to know exactly who your catering is, your sound. Where is it coming from? Well, how long is it going to take to set up your stage? Where you're getting your furniture, your signage, all of that kind of stuff. And that is where you get your budget from. And as I said earlier, that is the most important part, because it's your preparation. So you're looking at logistics in terms of the tiniest detail that you cannot, and if you work off a checklist and you tick, you're not going to forget anything. But what happens is if people are not properly organized or don't have a great checklist, then they go into panic mode. And the minute you go into panic mode, nothing happens, because it's like fight or flight situation. And we find that people get very flustered. So everything has to be planned. You can get ready-made checklists, but my recommendation is to take an Excel budget and work that out when you're looking for funding. And funding is a very important part of where we want to go. But we need to understand, again, like someone mentioned, Ozmic, why are you having this event? What is the goal? And from there, you can start your planning. But it needs to be a step-by-step, in order checklist. And that is vital, vital, vital.
So someone on the first session, in the first session, they asked about what if I organize my event for maybe let's say the 23rd of next month, and then it rains, the weather, because you can't actually control the weather, And
Plan B, always, always plan B.
I was going to ask about
You
that.
have to-
Do you need to have a
can't
contingency
control
plan?
any environment, so you have to always have a plan B.
Yeah.
You have to have a plan B, and you have to make sure that, yes, I've got a function coming up, it's going to rain. Have I got backup of a marquee in case I need it? If it's going to be cold, do I have heaters or blankets that people can use? And the other thing that you also can't forget is, are you COVID recognized? So are you following exactly what you need to for social distancing, so it doesn't end up like Rage started ending up last year as a blame game for spreading the virus? So at the moment, we also have to be cognizant of that.
So I always hear people saying when you organize these big festivals, you have to follow regulations, laws and regulations. And I'm not too sure exactly what do they mean, because they will always tell you that, if you're organizing a festival like Uncle Vinny, what he did in Braamfontein, he had to close down the street. Is it important that I need to go and consult with the JMPD or the office, SAPSI? How important is that? So that we understand all these things. So at the end of the day, I can go there and not get arrested tomorrow.
Well, in this case, it's very important because closing the streets is something that you need to consult with the superiors for. First of all, there's something called JOC. If you don't get
what is JOC?
Well, I explain that, John. JOC ke maponisa. You basically pay them, ba le katela, ba le checkela around gore go etsagalang mo eventing ya lona. Then you have to have illegal license. You can never sell liquor at an event that's outdoor at any street or any kasi or whatever you may call it without a liquor license. You might get closed down. Second of all, for you to close any street, you do have to consult with the police. It doesn't have to be the JMPD, but you need to get permission because you're inconveniencing the residents in that area at that time. So such things are very important when having an event at any kasi or some sort of open plan venue situation.
Yeah. Do I need to inform my neighbors when I'm doing a party or when I'm throwing a festival? How important is that? I mean, this is my money. I want to throw a party.
Yeah, it is. You must. That's a must one,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very crucial.
You should actually even have a form where they sign. Something like an indemnity form in case anything gets damaged, because sometimes you might find out and it's a very small street. You need to put up a Bedouin tent, and for these posts to stand or ropes, they need to hold on to someone's fence. Had it been and how permission or anything like that, not permission, but necessarily letting them know, you might face consequences, and consequences that you don't want, especially if your event becomes a fail. So you do have to follow the steps. Straight up.
I always hear about the Joint Operations Committee, which is JOC, right? And there was this one event in town that I actually used to work for. And, they would say to us, guys, you need to put your file in order. And then we'll come and do a site visit. So when they come and do a site visit, they will also give you the requirements. But then when they get there, they want everything to be in order. Otherwise, your event will be cancelled. And there was one time, we were actually one day away from the event, and it got cancelled just because of one simple thing. So how important that you adhere to the requirements, especially the JOC?
Okay. If I can take... Okay.
Yes, Kabir, I'll come to you.
Okay. If I can just reply on that. JOC is very, very important. I'm not going to lie. And this is for everyone. And this is not just for your neighbors or the noise in the area, but for your own safety and your company's wealth also. You understand? Because JOC will actually, the job, your JOC, is not to say no. That's one thing people get wrong. JOC's job is not to say no, but yes. All these no's that they give you, it's for you to prepare and make sure that everything is up to standard, to make sure that all regulations, the stage is not shaking and all those things. You understand? And making a perfect example about that, there's once, I think, a stage fell when Thabo Mbeki was presenting. I'm not sure about the president or something, but then that company didn't get in so much trouble because what? They adhered to JOG's requirements and all those things. You understand? And so JOG is like a guardian angel to you, you understand? If there's fire, you know, there's like fire investigations, you'll go and we don't want you to go and pour water and alcohol, you understand? And so JOG is vital, it's very, very important in any event, whether it's indoor, whether it's outdoor and all those things. And most of the people think that you only need to do JOG when you're doing an outdoor event. We've had an event whereby it was nearly closed, more for 4 ways, Tiger. Because JOG, they came, and then there wasn't any application on that, and then we had to like beg those guys. We had to beg them not to close it down. You understand? It was indoors. It was a club. And then this guy just rocked out of nowhere. Yeah, but there are places who are JOG safe. They say it's JOG safe and all those things, but then sometimes they just rock up without you even knowing. And yeah, if you don't have a liquor license, you're not going to sell a single beer on that day. That's
Well, guys, whoever's listening at home, I told you, a man with a suit, they'll always talk this big English, this big words. But Kabelo, I mean, I am sitting at home and I'm thinking, these guys are talking this jargon, JOG, Joint Operations Committee. What exactly are the requirements that are coming from JOG? Because you know, when there's too much noise, you know, the neighbors start to complain and they can actually shut it down. But we don't know exactly what are the JOG's requirements. Can you please kindly share with us?
Yes. Hi, everyone. The Joint Operation Committee is, let me explain Kaswana. By the way, JOG helps a lot of events for to be successful. At the end of the day, to be safe as well. That's why when you do a JOG application, they tell you what you need to have a safety officer. A safety officer is someone who oversees and overlook your event while we're now only busy planning and operation of the event. So JOG, who is your and apply everything, because the safety officer will make sure, will oversee, will make sure that each and everything is in order. Because first of all, when you host an event, you need to go to the venue and do the dry run with the venue owners, like municipality venue. You need to go there and do the dry run. After the dry run, you need to go back and sit as a team, as service providers, for example, EMS, SAPS, Metro Police, cleaning services, security. You sit and you talk about the whole plan of the event. But as an organizer, you don't have to implement so many things. Your safety officer must implement and tell them, this is how I'm going to plan the whole event. This is my floor plan. This is my venue layout. Those things, they will file them and you're going to present them at JOG. JOG will tell you that what's left out, you need to submit it before a week or days before the event so that you can approve your event. Such as, for example, some guy just mentioned there that they can close your event because you don't have liquor license. Yes, they can, but per se, if you're not going to sell alcohol at your event, you are liable to do an event. If you're not going to sell, then people can come with the cooler bags. If it's not a public space. If it's a private space, you are very safe to host an event where people are allowed to come with their own cooler box. But when you sell, you need to make sure that you do the liquor license 14 days before the event at Swane or Hotel Liquor Board, so that when you present, such questions are going to occur from the liquor board, I mean the board as well of JOG, saying, are you going to sell alcohol? You must say yes, and then here's the application. I'm still waiting for the liquor license to be collected. You know, so it's very important to have JOG. It's very important to have safety officer. One last thing that I want to say is, when you have any illustrate, because how Docha, some things like the such as the public liability helps a lot. Your safety officer cannot apply what we call public liability. It's an insurance whereby if a person like Ahobala, Atrokofala, Kwabali storms and whatever, you are liable to pay the stage and sounding, you are liable to pay all the security, you are liable to pay such things. Yeah, those are my last words.
Thank you so much, Kabelo. I have a question because you said it's not only outdoor shows that requires job requirements, right? But now, suppose I have set my event to happen on the 23rd of May, and then I go to jog 5 days before, and just a day before the 23rd, they come and do the site visit, and they realize that maybe in terms of fire safety, I am not actually secured for my event, and they see that as a risk hazard for the audience. Is it possible that they can actually cancel it? Because like I said, they did cancel the other event. Is it possible that they can cancel, but then you can also go back and rectify that the very same day so that at least you can host your event the following day?
Yes, they can. But then the nicest thing about them, like I said, their job is not to say no. Is that you can speak to them and be like, okay, I'm missing 2 or 3 or whatever. And for instance, there's a show that I did and our stage manager didn't have certification. You understand? And so that was also a problem because they want someone certified. It was an outdoor big event and all those things. And so what we did then is that we went back and then we looked for someone who's got certifications, how it's a stage, everything. And then JOG, what then they did is that they came the morning of the event before 10 a.m., before the gates opened and all those things. They did the recheck and all those things. They ticked that box and then we were able to do an event.
Sure, let me get this right. Are you saying stage se reducing musona say it needs to be certified? Heba to Mamudim. Are you also saying that whoever if define extinguish that something certificate?
Your health officer should know, and the way they put them, we understand where it's placed and all those things. Yeah, they are certain areas and all those things. And this is whereby, what's this one? Okay, the EMS, it looks at people who are injured. I'm just trying, it's been a while now. Yeah. But yeah, one of the guys from JOG, they will be able to tell you, okay, this is your floor plan, and then when on your floor plan, you will put the crosses or wherever and say, this is where this fire extinguisher will be, and then, like that. You'll plan it nicely, and then when they get there, that's what they want to see. Like the lady said there, that, what you call this thing, event planning, it's the Bible for this thing, for all events. And so is JOG. JOG is like the Bible also for your safety, public liability, all those things, you understand? And so you need to do that. They should be fire extinguishers under the stages, you understand? Because that's where some of the companies, they keep their amplifiers and all those things. And those things generate a lot of heat. And so if it's really, really hot, one thing goes round and then the whole stage starts burning, then you know, okay, that's the way to go out. And so everyone follows that protocol. They all go there. They go to an assembly meeting point and all those things. And then that's how you do it. You just iron it out on the paper, application and all those things, and everything is sorted.
So that's why the checklist now is very important because it plays a very major role. And now on the day, Ozmic, are you still, I mean, I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be. Do you still need that JOG file even on the day? Because anything can happen. Ozmic?
Of course you do. Because remember, they don't go away. Just because they've checked your file does not mean they go away. They sit right there with you.
File. Like as an event organizer.
I agree when you're the one organizing the party, you're not the one grooving. Your patrons are the ones who are grooving. You must make sure your patrons are safe. So just because they've gone through the file does not mean they're not there. So JOG does not leave, basically. That committee, they stay there with you until the event has ended. And once again, it's about what kind of event you're doing. I mean, you're not going to see JOG at a wedding, obviously, you know? So it's about also sort of how high priority is that event, you know? It's called categorization, you know, to say, is it low, is it risk, you know, is it minimum? Meaning people gonna shoot each other here, or there's no alcohol. It's just
Yeah, Ozmic, you're
a golf
confusing
day.
me. Ozmic, you're confusing me. When you say the event is low, is high, it's risky, what are you trying to say? For someone who's watching at home and they don't even understand, because you just mentioned now that not every event it needs jog. So what kind of an event needs jog? And how do you mean, what do you mean by low,
Now
risk, high?
yeah. So you must remember that events are different. Number one, we've established that. So, like for instance, you've been to an event where you can see that either your car's gonna get stolen or you're gonna get stabbed, and then also you've been in an event where you're like, oh, this is such a nice event, you feel safe, right? There's a reason why you have those feelings, because something is bad or something might go wrong. The reason you know that something might go wrong is because chances are those organizers have a very bad planning. They're just there to get the money at the gate, and that's it. But when you go to an event where you feel safe, you can park your car, you can see that there's organization here. You know what I mean? And I think, to reiterate what the other gentleman and the good lady Leanne has been saying, is that the point of jog is not really to be your enemy, but it's more to assist you. And that's what they'll always say to you, is that we're here just to make sure that the people coming, your patrons, are safe. And when that happens, it protects you, because God forbid you do an event and someone at the event, or like a stage, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to check, who certified that stage, number one. Who's liable for it? Do you have a public liability? Meaning, did you get your story together? Say you've got National Arts Council sponsoring the event. By law, National Arts Council should be asking you to see that jog file, right? I know, some organizations also don't really have that knowledge, but by law, the stage you're sitting on right now, by law, National Arts Council should say, can I see if this thing is certified? Because what would happen right now if you guys fell on that stage and you broke a leg? So that's why those things are there. It sounds stupid when there's no incident. It becomes very important when there's an incident, because you'll end up in jail, literally.
Oh, wow.
You know?
Well, ladies and
There's
gentlemen.
been cases where literally trussing fell on someone and that person died. So whose fault is it?
I can imagine. I can imagine.
It's an event and a lightning strikes and kills 4 people. Whose fault is that? It sounds stupid, but lightning is there. It'll strike, it'll kill people. So we have to start saying, did you as an event organizer, did you take any measures to prevent such a incident happening? Did you speak to God or not? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
talking about the public liability, I mean, I just want to understand that age, because I so believe that if you have to really cover so many people, suppose you're having the high risk event, 20,000 people that are going to come to your event, you need to have a certain amount of money maybe, or you don't have to, for you to be able to apply for public liability. How does it work? Because there are other people like Obuti Muna Are, Bona, they just started out, and their thing as Bona, it started growing and growing and growing. So suppose maybe they host an event, goes the way to, that will then require jog. Do I need to have a certain capital, certain amount of money for me to be able to apply for public liability, so that everybody who comes to my show or my event is well covered? Yes, Leruli?
Yes, you do, because jog does charge a certain amount of money. They just don't come for free. You would be lucky at that time if maybe you went and applied and your proposal or how you gave it off, somehow you've won their hearts. Then maybe they can come that time. But jog does charge.
Papi, how much are we looking at here when you say jog charges?
So can I just correct there?
Yes.
Jog does not charge, eh? Jog does not charge. Jog is it's a facility it's a city thing that is there to protect the people of that city or the people coming. What you get charged is the things that you need for the event. You need an ambulance, you must pay for it. You need to pay to close the road. You need to, so to pay to close the road, that's not jock. That's you paying to close the road.
The service
You know,
that they're
Metro
giving.
Police is a business, you know. So, but that community, they don't get there and say, we're going to bill you this. But all the things that they need from you to make this thing safe, according to their standards, that is what will cost you.
Thanks, brother. We learn every day.
Wow, hey, we are learning every day, hey? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching at home, I mean, Opa here, he said, you start small and gradually you grow. You know, until you get to a stage where by now you have that money to implement such big events that are now being called by, according to Ozmic, high risk, where you can invite the president, the mayor, invite Eva, we'll make it happen and we will bring you money. So, ladies and gents, I just want us to talk about, the challenges that we are facing as event organizers. Earlier on the first session, one mentioned something about the weather, of which we've covered already. And then the other point was that there are people who are inviting the artist. The artist on the day, they don't show up. And I don't think that question was really answered fully, because I still want to ask the very same question. Now, what do you do in that case whereby now the artist mamang has a known because the celebrity e sa bukile ko kae kae go etsagalang batho kana ko rona re patetse gore re tlo bona yena. Yes, Papa.
Yeah, so with this, like last week Saturday, I had an event at Recharge Lounge somewhere in Midrand. So I booked some artists. Some came, but one did not pitch. And I'd already paid for that certain artist. And now it's a problem to me because even at the place where that I'm running in Soweto, it's at Vilakazi Street. So that street, that place, now when I book artists, I pay them after they finish performing. So I don't pay them. I tell them that, okay, it's fine. You can come. You can bring your contract. But now my contract says this. I will pay you after. Because now if I pay you before, you will decide maybe otherwise that your grandmother or your grandfather died while they're still alive. Or while they died like 3 years ago. And then you're telling me that they died. So now I have to pay you after the event or when you get to the event.
But for money, is it a good thing? Because as an artist or as an MC, as a presenter, for me to come here, roadshow marketing in a channel deposit, agree, there's petrol. How do I get here? Do you know? I mean, is that fair, gentlemen? Are you doing the same as well?
Rana on the clubs, because of we do event every week. So we know that we pay the artist in full and with the contract, your binder. Yeah. Even if occasionally, I'll be worried because of my reputation of my club, my clientele, because of future business. But the other things, I know that I will get my money back.
But isn't that risky? And I'm not too sure when you say you'll get your money back, how do you mean? Especially if the artist doesn't show up.
My contract is already been satisfied with any affidavit from police station. Yeah. If you sign, yes, you commit.
Yeah, but I mean, you pay me 100% of your money, and I don't show up, mainly because, okay, Roadshow Marketing has booked me, and then the other company, Eva's company, also books, they book me as well. But then Roadshow Marketing, it pays me 50 rand. Bale bampatala 100 rand. And I choose to go for 100 rand because that's what sometimes celebrities do, hey? Our artists, it's a pity. That's what happens. So how is it a good idea that event organizers should be paying 100% of the money or a certain portion of the money? Because I would speak on behalf of the artist to say it's only fair to pay a certain deposit because I have to fly down to Durban to come to your Durban July festival.
You know, the problem is that the event, most of people they never think of the event. They are not the same. Those big event. That we call this event every weekend. We call it like this, the event every weekend. So it's obvious. If we give you this contract, give you an example like Thursday, I'm hosting that miss, and I know I already pay her, so she have to come because I've already paid and she sent the contract. We will stay back a moment.
But Leanne, the principle shouldn't it be the same whether you are doing a small event or a big event? Because, I mean, I can imagine, you pay me 100 Rand, I understand, and then tomorrow I wake up and I'm not fine. And I call you and I say, listen, I can't make it because most of the time it's not every time that artists are really doing it deliberately, that they don't show up for no apparent reason. Sometimes, you know, it's things like I get sick and I can't control that. So, Leon, I don't know in terms of the contractual matters, do we really have to apply the same principle or should it differ?
Well, a contract is a contract and it's binding. So if you phone in and you say, look, I'm sick, I can't make it, and you've got a doctor's note or whatever, again, you have to then come up with a plan B. And it's happened to every single one of those people sitting on that stage. I can guarantee you that right now. It's happened to me more times than I care to remember. And you make a plan and you think on your feet. And if you have planned properly, it's easier to do that because you know exactly what you need. One of my other events a few months ago, the MC at 4 o'clock in the afternoon for an event starting at 7 o'clock cancelled on me. And I had to find a new MC. So you do what you have to do. You connect with people, you build your connections, and you ask for help. And that is important. Don't think you must do everything on your own. Ask. Let people help you. Work in a team. Teamwork makes the dream work. So you have to be part of a team and rely on people. And you get to know who the people are that will religiously let you down, because they do that. There's some people, and also, you know, not to be funny or anything, but sometimes people let fame go a little bit to their heads, and then they think they're this big diva and you're a little small fry, then your function's not good enough for them. But whether the event is for 10 people or 1,000 people, the logistics and the planning has to remain the same. It doesn't change. It's the same amount of work that you put in for it.
Yes, Leroy, you want to add to that?
I just want to ask a question, actually, now that Leanne is saying we should ask. In a case where, because we all know some events, in fact, all events, you're able to insure them. So I want to know, in a case where an artist or an actor or a presenter or whichever person that you've booked can't make it at that specific day, does the insurance then pay you for that, or is it only just for the event and all the other stuff around the event apart from, you know, your artist or your acts, rather?
It depends on what your contract with the artist states. It also depends if you go through an agency or you deal with the artist directly. So if you're going through an agency, you've got a better chance of getting another artist. So if that artist is sick, the agency can replace the artist. Then you won't lose a deposit. But there's generally a clause in all contracts that say, should you cancel 24 hours before an event, you will have to refund the full deposit paid to you. So that normally does take place in any contract when you are bringing on an artist, an MC, whatever it may be. So it's the same as if you make like any appointment and you don't make it. But that's why I recommend you go through an agency when you're looking for talent, unless you know that talent very well and you know that you can rely on them. If you don't know your talent very well, then you go through an agent, because then they can replace somebody with like somebody. And remember that your talent that you get, your artists, have to suit your crowd. And that's another thing that's very important, that sometimes you go to a function and you spend 3 months organizing a function, and one artist that's wrong will destroy your entire event.
Yeah. But then let me allow my audience to actually raise some questions here, because I know they've got some burning questions. And yes, it's young people. Let's allow them to learn and ask questions. There's no question that is stupid, right? And there is no right or wrong question. So you kopa obosa question e nngwe le nngwe o batlang ho e botsa. So re ke barona ba teng mo. Okay, the lady over there. Hey, o ka re ke khala dutse mola a bela monna batla ho botsa. Ba shape mama ka tsona dipotso. All right. Just say your name and where you're from, then you can ask your question.
Oh, okay. Greetings to all. My name is Oratilwe, and my question is, with the planning and all that has been said, location, how do you choose the perfect location for your event? Be it any event, how do you choose the perfect location?
Okay, anyone volunteer? How do you choose? Okay, literally.
So I'm going to give you the little that I know. From my side, I feel like if you're going to choose the perfect location, you need to check what target audience you want, the numbers you're chasing for, and the safety of it. Yabo? So then you know, Guti, if ufaga event la, is a so someone is not able to jump over it, or someone's not able to, sell something. Street vendors, they choose any place where they can sell amangina and komo. Guti, if it's the open plan, so you see every single corner, if there's a street vendor that's trying to do anything lapa, you're able to deal with it at that time. So I think that's my input or what I can give to you for now.
Well, in closing, I just want to give our panelists at least about 30 seconds to just tell us briefly and include your words of wisdom as well to that. What are some of the developmental programs or empowerment programs that you are actually implementing at current moment in your communities to make sure that you empower other event organizers? Because I get so please kindly share with us those kind of programs that you guys are doing, and also your last words of wisdom to a young person out there who wants to venture into events management. So let's start with you, Lerole.
So can I ask, what if my influential side of things is not about events? So what happens?
Anything that you are doing in the industry, because I think everything connects.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like I said, I am the chairperson of the Youth League of an organization called Act Now. We advocate against gender-based violence and femicide. We also do dabble a bit in our fellow citizens' well-being. So from me to you, I feel like at this point in time, the youth needs to get up. We have such little young people running with such organizations or ideas. It's always a situation now, if we have a candlelight of a certain lady or fitting because a man or a child or whatever the situation might be that's got to do with gender-based violence. We were hosting a candlelight on that day, and there's a Devon Coco what's this session or concert. Kids will choose to go there, spend their money to go there. I called you, God, please come and attend this candlelight and raise awareness with us. You didn't organize transport for me. There was no food or akina chelete, my situation. But you were go extra strong. Doesn't matter if you're no VIP or extra strong. You were busy cheering Devon Gogo, Kusa Gogo the whole time. So Mina, what I want to say to the youth is get up, stand up, and know what you're standing up for. Know what's right, know what's wrong. I'm not saying don't party, but weigh your options. What's more important? You actually giving out to the community and showing that you are a good person, or you just knowing a party. Another thing, guys, let's go to school. Sitting at home, hustling, or thinking that a plan will come up. No, that's not what's going to happen in life. In life, you go to school, whether or not there's a situation, you are able to talk to someone. There is that one person. One of our panelists kept saying, get the guts to speak to someone, even if it's a lady that's sitting there, oh, no snacks, or she's got a resting face, or yo, drum pot, go. Our panelists did say the only thing they can say to you that's going to break you is that no. But you will be what? 2 minutes away from what you were before you asked him or her. So please, ladies and gentlemen, let's do that, and I'll be closing from my side.
Lerole ke mo file 30 seconds ka gonne wa re chika o tseile awara yo yotlhe, but I'm just hoping that Cheese Boy is not going to take that long. So Cheese Boy ke mantswe a feng a botlhale go batlang gore ne re le batswa.
But so the only thing I can say to them, they must go to school and learn the basic first. You understand? If you have education, everything's going to be easy for you because of what you understand the business, the strategics, everything because of an education come minding you. Understand? Now we're already there. We're running the clubs. We're enjoying the music. We need the studios. So, but we are trying every day to push them calm. But they're suffering. So, what do you understand? So, but the only thing you you learn the basics and you don't understand everything because of education come mind.
But knowledge is power. Scholars ka ba se sia papa. Papi wena o ka reng ko rona?
Okay, firstly, what we're doing to uplift the community and all those things is that what I mentioned earlier on, like music vault invasions, those clubs, those free things and all those things. What we do is that in our team, I will actually ask someone to lead that event, run it, plan it, do everything, you understand? That way we're empowering that person to be a leader tomorrow. If it happens that I get knocked down by a basic eventing, we know that the whole team is equipped with enough knowledge to run that whole thing. You understand? That's one. And then in terms of the advice that I'll give to the young people out there is that start. Like there is no important thing like starting, no matter what. If you don't have money, start with that 10 cents. You understand? Most of the young people, they'll say, I don't have money, I can't do 1, 2, and 3. How much do you spend on data? And you know how powerful that cell phone is. And just a small example, then I can give it to the next gentleman, is that there's a lady who was taken by Tira, and then there's a guy who sang go Renbeck Square, the guitarist, and then I think it's Maporis or whoever. They did a song with those guys, and then that lady, they actually recorded a video and said, if I'm calling Tira. And then 2 days later, 3 days later, that lady has got a song with Tira. You understand? And so stop using your cell phone for chatting only and getting girlfriends or boyfriends. Start using it for the real purpose of it, because it's really, really, really important. You'll complain that you don't have a computer at home. You've got a computer in your hand. That's it. That's my advice to anyone out there. And so that 10 rand data, use it for someone else. That 10 rand data, call Papi, call Casper, call this person. Can I come volunteer? Go ahead, do that. And then you don't know who's on the other side of that line.
Wow, wow, those are words of wisdom. Batuzo, itola kanjani? Uhlele khoneni? Ntate Lucky?
From my side, as a Savannah Music Jam representative, yeah, in this industry is challenging, it's true. As they've said it all, you must be knowledgeable, having that information. As well, it's challengeable because now we got that challenge, because now everything it's online, it's streamed, you see. So that's our venture right now, we're keeping the spirit, keep going, never stop, don't look back. And that's the spirit most, because our drive of the year up to the next year is to bring back the spirit of June 16. The question from us as Savannah Music Jam is about what the youth is doing. Who are you? What are you doing? What kind of a difference can you show? From us, that's the drive that we're trying to share with the youth, Yeah, so my words to the youth, keep going, don't stop. Namagunjani ungami baba.
Qhubeka. Ntate Fumani.
So, with me, what I can say is, if your path or your way always leads back to yourself, you're not going to go anywhere. So, in life, you live for everyone around you as well. If my brother Lucky is here, and I know that I own a place, I can be able to book him and call him like, bruh, can you come and play? Just for the people so that they can see what you do. And that way, I'm empowering him to do more, to not stop. The other thing is that whatever that you do, whatever plans, start with God. Pray about it. If you pray, God will decide on what's going to happen at the place that you're going to. If I'm going to a meeting, God is going to decide that that person is going to agree on what I'm proposing to them or not. If they decide not to agree, it means that God does not want you to work with that person. Then you should move on.
Hallelujah. Hey, anyway, let's go. Let's go to Leanne. What are your words of wisdom, and what are the programs that you are doing to empower young people in your community?
Okay, so young people is my passion. I spent 17 years in the tertiary education environment. And what I'll say to the youngsters, never, ever give up. Take every opportunity you can get, make it work for you, put yourself out there, be proactive. If it's what you want, go out and get it. Don't wait for it to come to you, because it's not going to. Be enthusiastic, get excited, have fun, talk your mind, ask, learn, grow. And that's what you need to do to make it in this industry.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. Kabelo? You still have Kabelo?
My last words will be everyone shared whatever he or she feels about not giving up. I would like to tell each and everyone who's willing to or who likes to join this operation of hosting events, that you need to push as much as you can. You need to partner with anyone or everyone who's willing to partner with you, because we know you can have R1 million to host an event and it can be a flop, but you can have 1,000 to host an event and it can be a success. It will depend on how passionate you are, and how your plan, was it good enough to host an event, and people, your service providers, for an example, would encourage you to push more as well. For example, the people who provide you with sound, stage lighting will give you that thing. Do you satisfy? Are you satisfied with 1, 2, 3? So you need to keep on pushing and pushing and pushing up until you become the president of whatever the location or the province you had when they talk about events, no? So yeah, those are my last words. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Kabelo. Ozmic? Do we still have Ozmic? Well, I think
No.
He's gone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have come to the end of our show. And Mina, personally, what I have on behalf of the youth of South Africa and the whole entire Africa, what I've actually taken from this, honestly speaking, I have learned that self-development is very important. You self-develop yourself on a daily basis through education. You need to get knowledge, because if you're going to be an event organizer, you must make sure that you know that you're going to deal with people. And dealing with people, that's where the power is, because most of the time, our success lies in connecting with the other people. So thank you so much for those words of wisdom. And from myself, Ivan Tiso, and to the rest of the team, yeah, Roadshow Marketing, re tlo le ruta le rona rona ho etsahala eng ka events management, empa tse ding tse ngata re batla ho di tseba akere jwale bo ntate ke le bula haholo hle. Leanne, Ozmic, and Kabelo, thank you so much guys for joining us today, and until we see each other next time, ke re ho lona ke a le rata.